will not be about that, it will be about the justice system. And we appreciate any ruling that will come from there on Wednesday. We are not icing the court to do what is not right. We are icing them to do what is right in their mind, according to law. My web member proposed yesterday. I'm not going to take it further. The only thing my supporters are telling me that the allegation there against me, she should come and prove it. Let her prove to the public, the politicians. Please tell the people, tell the public, my supporters are saying that the only thing that she asked because they want to know and they want to stop supporting me, my supporters, the people that believe in me, the poor district number 10, want to gather to my place or to my house to ask me for the money I've been eating by Minnesota. Madam Colbert II, I'm asking you to please publish all your evidence regarding that I'm the most corrupt lawmaker. I'll be very glad you can do that. So to all my supporters, I think I have laid that to rest. Remember in our post yesterday, she said I'm a husband, and it is true. Remember husband, and my wife knows that remember is also my wife, so I want to maintain our relationship. But please, because if you don't do that, sweetheart, people will not take you serious. You need to prove that I'm the most corrupt lawmaker. Prove it to the people of Liberia. Prove it to my supporters so they can stop whatsoever support they are giving. Our tour, she has started tomorrow, but I'll file a bill of information before they submit to me the justice chambers. So my lawyer said I have to be there on Wednesday. So everything is set for the tour. We'll be picking up from there on Thursday. Today I want to visit my friend Honorable Zina Nama. He said, have a program on the 9th in your district. He has said to the people that the most powerful, the most popular, the most recognized lawmaker will be in your district. So if you really want me to go there, I'll be studying it. Because from the 28th to the 9th will be too long. I can be sitting and I don't move into to carry on the tour. We have resolved, we have all our resources for the tour. We'll be picking up on Thursday by God's will. We'll be picking up on Thursday. We'll sleep in the Grand Bassa country. From there, we hit the river, sleep in the river. We go up onto the pass through Lima County. So all our supporters in the countries. I'll be spending 2 to 3 days in Range because I will have to go to Punebo. I will have to go to all the places. I will have to go to my wife hometown. The people there want to see me, so I'll be going to Punebo district in Range County. I'll be spending 3 days, the highest 4 days in Range because I'll have to spend some time with them. People want to know why, if there's any situation between Ombodini and myself. We do not have any situation that I can remember. On the line with us, the speaker profile, Musa Beliki and other people, Ombodini told us that he was asking him and so in the chiefs from Grange that impressed on him for him to sign the resolution. So when I left school that day, I announced one of my senior in-law named Ospo. He called me, I said, he never called me once to tell me he and Uncle Didi have never ever met since Joseph Parker was passing around buried dead body when he took empty coffin, empty casket to bring Nigeria and said it was one of my senior father-in-law body he was carrying. He and Uncle Didi have never met. We were on the line that night. I called Uncle Billy. I called Eugene Colley. And Kev and Sam were trying to call Uncle Didi. He didn't pick up. Because Uncle Asa who were on the line, he wanted to make it clear. And let it be known to me that he never, ever talked to Didi concerning signing resolution against him. So for now, I believe Honorable Yenebo, whatsoever statement I made on Spoon FM calling his name on that day, I take it back because he made it clear to me that he and Didi did not talk. Because Didi told us that the errors are saying if you don't sign the resolution, what the money they say against you, the Puto margin issue will fall on him. The government will not care about the Puto margin, so he was forced to sign the resolution. But we'll discuss that later. People sign, people didn't sign. We'll discuss it later. I listened to Honorable Member Bruce say that she was in all of the country and she asked somebody to prosecute for her. That our move. Because when somebody signs for you, the person will not vote for you. I think in my mind, my wife did not say the right thing because she knows very well it's wrong. For somebody to prosecute for you that will not sign for you, on our rules, it don't work that way. You have to be here, you have to sign, and you have to vote. I will appreciate her to vote anytime she wants to. But that it be done properly. That it be done properly. And to all my supporters, when I got in the only 16 of March, the statement made by me to the airport, I still maintain my statement. I can never ever revise it, that's my statement. The statement made by me on Spoon, that's my statement. I can never ever revise it. And let me say to all the people are telling me you need to apologize to Joseph Walker. Don't waste your time. Mr. Walker will call me on his phone and apologize to me. I will have a press conference.
Pardon on behalf of Liberia Force most biggest youth-based constructive political civil right movement, the CCCOP. We want to use this medium to officially register our undiluted revolutionary greetings to our people of the one universe. Today, that we indicated days ago, the CDC-COP will be officially addressing the nations as it relates to issues that border around the well-being of our people and the survivability of our democracy as a country. You know, it has become a glaring reality that Mr. Joe Boyka, who is the head of the conglomeration of criminals, is fastly retrogressing in this country. Since Mr. Boyka became president, unfortunately for the Liberian people, Mr. Boyka has successfully succeeded in undoing the democratic progress Liberia as a country has made over the past years since our war ended. Let me repeat, since Mr. Boyka became president of this country, he has become successful as it relates to erasing all of our democratic progress as a country since the war ended. And this is the reason why you see on a daily basis the government is going after critics, people who have opposing views as it relates to the terrible governmental reality of the day. The government has discovered interest in going after them. Let us forget about those that are currently in the opposition. Let us look at the government in support of them. One of them is, may his soul rest in peace, Comrade Prince Johnson. Prince Johnson supported the regime with his all, but later when he disagreed due to institutional issues, he was pressurized with World Economic Crime Code, and today is no more. We are no longer talking about the World Economic Crime Code. Let us look at Comrade Prefect Key, who is currently behind bar. Prefect Key being placed behind bar is not only a violation of his freedom of expression, but it also violates his freedom as well. It is a glaring reality that, according to the judiciary law of 1972, it states, and I quote, when an individual is being accused of criminal contempt, the punishment if that person will go to jail should be not more than 30 days. But Prefect Key is currently behind bar at the Monrovia Central Prison, and he has spent more than 30 days, which is a clear violation of the right. Now we want to look at Fode Mazakwe, one of the country's eminent political activists. His life has been, haunted by the regime. The regime has found interest in going after him. So the reality here is, Joe Boyka as a president is not just a budgetary abuser. He is not just a president who has found pleasure in abusing the state resources, but he is also undoing the democratic progress we have made as a country. But fellow Liberians, like we said, we are aware of the negative consequences that are attached to this. That's why, regardless of how far they arrest our chairman, regardless of how well they torture him, regardless of how well they brutalize him, we will still come here to have our people in Latin about Mr. Joe Boyka out of recklessness as it relates to governing the state. So we are aware that what we are choosing to do is a direct threat to the survivability of Gregory Como. That's why he has become very intolerant as it relates to going after critics. But, comrades, we have a very documented statement that will be delivered on behalf of the CDC COP given to our people. With that being said, this is how I want to pause and officially recognize the presence of the executive committee of the CDC COP. So today, hopefully, we'll be addressing the nation. And this is the first address since the release of our chairman. The truth is, he was unconstitutionally arrested, and that is why when the police released him, they were never sent to court. There was no charges. Clear validation that they were unconstitutionally arrested. So with that being said, I will narrow down my hat and officially turn over the platform to former chairman Fode Mazakwe, the chairman of the CDC COP.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen of the press, fellow Liberians, President Boyka has killed democracy in Liberia. A call for immediate and meritorious intervention into Liberia's current political backwardness. Fellow countrymen and hard-working professional journalists, our supportive brethren in the diaspora and patriotic Liberians, I bring you sorrowful greetings from the rusty and smelling prison of the Liberia National Police Headquarters. Speaking to you today is nothing short of miracle, a clear confirmation our Doctors advised that I rest and complete my medical treatment. We acknowledge their professional counsel, but how can we rest when 46% of the Liberian people, that is approximately 2.5 million of the Liberian people, lives in the multi-dimensional poverty? How can we rest? I sit here today not in comfort, but in pain, driven by passion and an unwavering desire to fight for a better Liberia. Fellow Liberians, since April 6, 2026, when the CDC-COP endorsed the April 14 March for Job and Justice organized by SUP, I received credible intelligence that the Boakye administration had declared me a threat to national security. On the morning of April 13, 2026, our intelligence bureau intercepted information that a shoot-to-kill order had been issued by President Boakye, after which he ran away to Ethiopia to endorse the march and to turn blind eyes on the demands and the call of the Liberian people. I was clearly warned and directly threatened by top security officers who had knowledge of this death order, urging me not to attend the protest on April 14. I was clearly warned. But as a man of faith, I'm guided by the scripture. Though we walk through the valley of shadow of death, we fear no evil. I believe in God Almighty. Therefore, I chose to attend the protest fully aware of the risks attached. I stepped out knowing that the president of the country had ordered the death of a very harmless and peaceful citizen whose only crime is to advocate on behalf of the people. Fellow Liberians, what is the crime in citizens coming out to call for job and justice? So yes, I knew death was looming, but does death scare us anymore in this country? Are the Liberian people now already working there in this country? What we fear in this country is hunger, it's poverty, it's unemployment, economic exploitation, and extreme hardship. Liberians do not fear death anymore. They fear this Boakye a presidency, because this region has become, in our view, a living example of Satan suffering his disciple in hell. See how the Unity Party has increased the GST tax. It used to be 10% in 2023. Unity Party have increased it to 13%. There is also a plan to increase it to 16% in 2027. What kind of country is this? A government that came to bring down prices has increased prices higher before. The regime has taxed almost everything. We have been told that there is a plan to even increase tax on condoms, meaning they are intending to be taxing sex. Sex, a natural right, they want to tax it. Why? Because they want to reach a budget at all costs. Fellow Liberians, this government continuing to impose suffering and hardship and distributing poverty on the ordinary Liberian people. My fellow Hondas, during the March for Job and Justice, we are very peaceful and tolerant. The live cameras are there, the videos are there. Student, youth, and citizens gather in their thousands, expressing their pain and frustration with hope that their government could listen. Instead, the police arrived with a clear instruction to kill, to shoot, and to remove the crowd. They actually fear that if we could reach Central Monrovia, the crowd could be gigantic and overwhelming. So they never wanted us to reach in time. Those who know me and understand me very well, they know I'm a very fast runner. But I refused to run on that day because I committed no crime. Why should the police shoot live bullets and tear gas at harmless citizens demanding jobs and justice? Why? Article 17 of our Constitution protects our right to assemble. We follow that law. We notify the government. The world knew about the march. Why then should I run? I will never run, even in my next life, once I have not committed any crime. I will never run from the police. Never, never, ever run when I have not committed any crime. The nation saw my brutalization and dehumanization on camera. But that is not even what pains me most, fellow Liberians. My unlawful arrest on April 14 was no coincidence. The police acted on orders from President Bouaké through Gogre Kumo. My only luck of living today is that the Unity Party regime kidnapped me on live camera. So killing me at that point became very difficult for my people. Beyond what you saw in the public, I was treated like a common criminal. I was stripped naked. I was beaten with baton, kicked in my stomach, taken in separate rooms where officers demanded access to my phone. This is evidence. Gogre Kumo as IG sent the spokesperson of the Lagos National Police in the particular cell that were there, demanding he wanted to speak with the massacre on the phone. Thanks that we were 20, 18 other brothers from the Vanguard School Unification Party insisted that no, we were arrested together, we are jailed together. Chairman Fode is not going anywhere, and they insisted I stay. But on April 14, 2026 was not my first encounter with what I described as this Unity Party harsh treatment towards me. On August 13, 2024, the Bouaké administration again ordered my unlawful dismissal from the Moreover City Corporation alongside 8 other brothers. That particular incident was referenced in the United States Department Human Rights Report of 2024, that damaging human rights report against the Bouaké administration. After losing our job, we are refused to be silent. The dehumanization on April 14, I believe, is part of a broader strategy to silence me and so many other critical voices in the country. But prisons and death are sacrifices I accept long before I enter politics to fight for the voiceless mass of our people. I accepted death over defeat long ago. But today, I cry and I bleed for something greater than death. The death of democracy in Liberia. Fellow Liberians, is this the multi-party democracy that Grebo Bako, Matthew, and others fought for? Is this the multi-party democracy? Fellow Liberians, is this the multi-party democracy that Augustine Kwe Gafwan, at a very young age, confronted Charles Taylor at the Unity Conference Center, calling Charles Taylor a living example of Lucifer itself? And Gafwan today sits in government and think that citizens should not disagree with the government? Is this the democracy that our forefathers fought for, where citizens cannot even be allowed to march, ordinary march on the street, and you'll be treated like common criminal or dogs? Is this the democracy? I believe for democracy. I believe for Liberia. It is worrisome. It is worrisome participating in the oppression of the ordinary Liberians. You celebrated my unlawful arrest and brutality. But let me remind you, fellow Liberians, when Jeremiah Kun was arrested in this country, he was arrested for theft of property. He stole goat in Nima County, and he went to jail for stealing goat. Unlike me, I have committed no crime, absolutely no crime. I went out to exercise my constitutional right. I was unlawfully arrested, tortured, and brutalized by state security. So, Mr. Kun, we are not the same. You are a goat role, and I'm a political prisoner. You are there manipulating all of the tenets of democracy, believing in your mind that you can manipulate this country, believing in your mind that you can end Liberia for your unthinkable and unreachable presidential ambition. You will go to bed reminding that, remembering every day that you are a goat role and we are political prisoners. We have not killed no fly unless you are being accused of being a boyo. You have blood on your hand. Nobody can say that about me. So we are not the same. No serious vice president in the country will be celebrating the breakdown and the crackdown of democracy. Why was I arrested? Why? And you want to celebrate that? No, we are not the same. You are a good rule who have committed theft of property in this country. Unlike me, I have never, ever committed any single crime. So we are not the same. So those who hate us because we are fighting for Liberia, even that labor that will benefit you and your family. Let me say this to you. We will turn this unlawful incarceration into a few to inspire, a few to accelerate, and a few to sustain the struggle for the Liberian people to demand jobs, justice, and national redemption. But this time, we are coming with a very single mandate. And that mandate says President Bouaké must either lead or leave. Jailing us was just the beginning. You have inspired us to struggle more. But this time around, we are struggling with a pledge. We will struggle until Bouaké is former president in 2029. So jailhouse cannot intimidate us. Even death cannot intimidate us. When we die, we want the Liberian people in the world to be very aware that you will have a photo massacre from the CDC Council of Petra in heaven. At that time, we will be confronting President Bouaké and the Unity Party government in heaven. So God will be listening to our advocates in our debate. So even death, even in the grave, we will still struggle. You will never, ever intimidate us with unlawful arrest or police brutality. I want to extend thanks and appreciation to the political leaders of all of the major opposition political parties in the country. Former President Weah, Mr. Cummins, Mr. Bellete, Mr. Benayue, for the support, the care, the call during my unlawful arrest. But I say this to you, honorable political leaders, a government that cannot allow citizens to peacefully march on the street has absolutely no intention of organizing a transparent, free, and fair election in this country. That is why we must act now, not tomorrow, because together we are powerful and together we win. To the Vanguard Unification Party, your militants protected my life in prison. I want to extend my revolutionary salutation to the Vanguard Unification Party and 18 other militants that were in prison with me. Chairman Otibas Moluba, a revolutionary figure whose leadership continued to inspire thousands of the Liberian masses. To you, the ideological hypocrites that are bitter about our alliance, that think that SUB and CDC COP should not struggle, we want to say this to you. And let me be very clear. SUB and the CDC COP will continue to work together collectively for the greater good of the Liberian people. And we owe no soul an apology for that. To my good people in the mighty CDC, the unity you demonstrated during my unlawful arrest reflect the true spirit of our party. CDC is a party of unity, a party of compassion, a party of resilience. Let me say this. It is about time that we set aside our differences and work together stronger than ever before in our diversity. The supremacy of the CDC must be reflected in our diversion of ideas and opinions. CDC won massively in 2017, 14 to 1 county, massively. We did that collectively. And I'm very optimistic that we can win again when we value institution, not individual. President Bouaké has failed massively. His regime is a colossal disappointment. He has abandoned the Liberian people. The opposition community and the Liberian people are looking up to the CDC for leadership and direction. Our party leaders must know this, and it is about time they start to do things very differently for the betterment of our country. Fellow Liberians, this Bouaké administration has now, through its own very police force, a method of using force against peaceful citizens. We hold the region responsible for brutality and theft of property, inhuman treatment, excessive force, and torture. We reject Gabriel Comon's apologies and we demand justice. When we were unlawfully arrested because we committed absolutely no crime, the police couldn't find a single charge against us. That is why today we have been free, not because the government wanted to, due to sustained and massive international condemnation from the war, from our international partners around the world. The government had absolutely no charge, so they had nothing than to free us because we are political angels. We have never committed any single crime. But for us, we have crime against the police. We charge the police for theft of property. Some of the comrades in Soup, their phone was stolen by the police. There is the police who we saw speeding hair, attachment on live camera. The police are criminals. When the police are criminals, the police can steal. We also charge the police for torture. We saw how young brothers and sisters, how our very sisters, our sister, you can see her, how she was torture a woman who was half naked and stripped naked on live television. There is a crime. We charge the police for that. We also charge the police for excessive force. We charge the police for also violating the Constitution of Liberia. So the police don't have any single crime against. For all, we have crimes against the police. The police have committed torture. The police have committed international human rights violation. The police violated the Constitution. The police unlawfully and brutally melted crimes against innocent citizens. When will President Bouaké act? When will Gogol Komo be dismissed? In our view, President Bouaké will never act. Because you know what? President Bouaké actually support Gogol Komo to be the head of the police that have killed more innocent citizens than malaria have done in the last 3 years. And that is fact. When Gogol Komo, on the order and instruction of President Bouaké, shot people in the Kinjo massacre, and they killed 3 Liberian citizens to death instantly. Nobody can die from malaria. When you take malaria, you take antimeter, you get well. So when we say that Gogol Komo under the police have killed more innocent citizens than malaria, that is a fact. We're here when the police shot little James Spanner to death in rehab. 17-year-old Favor in Broadway, his hair was bust to death by Officer Bama Masere. Under the police, this police have killed more innocent Liberians than malaria have done in the last 3 years. Nobody can argue that. Gogol Komo is a common, ugly, and dangerous murderer who thinks that his only way to perpetuate himself into power is to kill ordinary citizens, and that is very unfortunate. Fellow Liberians, the CDC COP unequivocally condemns the unlawful and unconstitutional expulsion of Honorable Yeka Koluba, the duly elected lawmaker of District Number 10, Moswaro County. That action by Mr. Kun and his 43 legislative gangsters was unconstitutional. It violated Article 28 of the Constitution that talks about due process of the rule of law, Article 11C, which guarantees due process, equal protection, and divine legislative Congress. The legislature is not a court of law and has absolutely no authority to try or punish alleged criminal conduct. Such power solely rests in the judiciary branch of government. Article 64 of our law says that it's not the judiciary or the court that can try criminal courts as a criminal cases in this country. It is a shame people who should be lawmakers cannot understand these simple things. The legislature cannot try anybody for a criminal offense, especially when it comes to treason. Do you know who have committed treason in this country? Treason has been committed by President Bouaké. When President Bouaké chose to work with chaos in chorus, that was treason. It violated Article 76(5) of the 1986 Constitution. That was treason. When the Injustice Minister, Oxford Tour, went and reinterpreted the Supreme Court ruling, it violated Article 66 of the 1986 Constitution. The final interpreter of constitutional matter in this country is the Supreme Court. This Injustice Minister who has disgraced the President Bouaké has lost more cases than any other president in the country. He has a very shameless and inapt legal advisor in Bushu Ben Keita who does not understand no synopsis and no fundamental basis about the rule of law of Liberia. He is a counselor. He is a counselor by coincidence and casualty. He sits there and advises the president on stupidity. This president has lost so many cases. The tenure law was violated. The president went and bribed and do settlement. So we have a country there is no justice minister. Oxford is an injustice minister. Misleading the president. The president has been disgraced on a very daily basis. Because you know what? This is the president who suffers from dementia. You know, when you are at that age, it is normal. But the president suffers from chronic dementia. So he always pass mass. That is why
we have a man who is in the presidential cage, who a few handful group of people are exploiting on what to do, when to do, how to do it. Liberia is in a very serious trouble. So I want to say this. Honorable Yeke Koluba remains the legitimate lawmaker of Electoral District number 10. He is a legitimate lawmaker. He was never removed lawfully. That action is auto-virus, it is nullable. We view that particular attempt as the Unity Party government playing to silence a critical voice. Remember, Unity Party is officially the ungrateful people party in Liberia. Unity Party used Prince Johnson here. Prince Johnson died from frustration and heart attack from work uncle. Today, ministers and advisors to the president are undermining the full establishment of work uncle. So Unity Party and President Bwagia brought work uncle only to kill Prince Johnson. The people of Nima County are still in pain. Their political godfather was killed by the Unity Party with work uncle. Who saw Prophet Key? Prophet Key is unlawfully in jail. The judiciary law of our country says contempt against the court of such nature, you go in jail for 30 days and pay a fine of 300. But the Chief Justice put Prophet Key in jail for 6 months. That is a gross violation of the rule of law. When you are Chief Justice of the country, you do not make law. You only interpret the law. That is your function. It stops right there. What kind of Chief Justice will be making law unto himself? That is how dangerous the country is. The Chief Justice has violated the Constitution more than 10 times. The current Chief Justice is an unconstitutional judge. In a serious country, but now Article 72 should be effectuated against him. The Chief Justice can be removed when you violate the law. This is the Chief Justice who put his son as majesty. This is the Chief Justice. Such a man who is a violator. There's a very Chief Justice who look at the president of the country and call him Mr. Chief Justice. You look at the president, Chief Justice, you take more than 20,000, you cannot even remember your own position. That is the man. That is why we want to say that United Party is officially the ungrateful people party in abroad. The frustrated Prince Johnson to death, the unlawfully J. Yeke Koluba, and the unlawfully J. Prophet Key rather, the unlawfully Taspia Yeke Koluba. Now they are running behind Amara Kone for free speech. Amara Kone said what everybody know in the country. President Bwagia, the Unity Party, has absolutely no interest in the peace and security of this country. NSA budget, NSA again do nothing in the country. Like to send money into NSA and the Samfung A for executive use and purposes. The NSA budget is 22.1 million. While national defense budget is 18.2 million. You think a country that's serious about air, that's serious about protection? No, that's not true. President Bwagia has absolutely no interest in regard in protecting the peace and security of this country. Not at all. So Amara Kone spoke the truth. But we live in a country that the Unity Party that misuse freedom of speech in this country have turned out to be a danger to democracy. When Amara Kone thought to threaten him with impeachment or expulsion, Unity Party is a danger to democracy. That is why we want to say that a party that hates free speech should be nowhere around the presidency. Fellow Liberians, the CDCCOP calls on the judiciary and the Supreme Court to uphold its independence and reject this unconstitutional act. We reframe that Honorable Yeke Koluba remains the legitimate representative of District number 10 and will march with him upon his return to the Capitol building. We want to say this on the record. The CDCCOP does not trust the current Chief Justice. He is corrupt, he's unconstitutional, he has absolutely no regard for the rule of law. But this is a moment where he can redeem his field judiciary credential. He can either save himself by going by what the law says. The law says that the legislature is not a court to try criminal cases. Article 65 of our law says that it is a court. If you want to try Yeke Koluba for treason, why ever Kula Fofana that wrote on her page? Yes, it. My second say, Kula Fofana said that the land is clean by Labrador. So Kula Fofana, who represents the mouthpiece of President Bwagia, said that the land does not belong to Labrador. But nobody can expel Kula Fofana or impeach her But I Yeke Koluba, because United Party is the ungrateful people party. If those guys in the house actually want to impeach somebody, the person that should be impeaching is Francis Yumane. It is Francis Yumane, that United Party governmental terrorists who went and conducted unlawful mining in the Maconian River. Francis Yumane and the BK enterprise unlawfully, superstitiously, arrogantly, criminally conducted unlawful mining without no permit into the Maconian River. Here's another proof to that. The proof is there. The evidence is that. And the executive mansion and the Ministry of Information on March 17, it said all activities of BK Enterprise and same money in other money have been hereby suspended pending outcome of a comprehensive investigation by the National Security Council. Francis Yumane sits on the National Security Council as Internal Affairs Minister, according to the National Intelligence Security Act of this country. But Francis Yumane sits there. At the end of the day, the government is since March 17, the government has refused to investigate Francis Yumane, who committed the particular terroristic act that brought the Guinea border issue in the country. Francis Yumane, and you see in the right here? So what kind of country is this? Francis Yumane is the mastermind of the entire Guinea and land border crisis. Francis Yumane wanted to bring war in this country. This is Francis Yumane. Here is the evidence and the fact. Francis Yumane is the one. But guess what? Those useless lawmakers in the 55th legislature, they are just confirming Francis Yumane. That's how useless they are. That is the magnitude of magnified madness that we are seeing from the 55th legislature. We want to say to President Trump and Secretary Marco Rubio of the United States of America, Francis Yumane, according to President Biden and the Ministry of Information, Francis Yumane is the cause of Guinea inclusion on Liberia land. Why? How dare you want to limit the debate to Yeke Koluba? Like Yeke Koluba told Francis Yumane to go and diamond in the water. When the Guinean planted their flag on our soil, Francis Yumane is a United Party governmental terrorist whose wicked and unlawful action nearly brought war between Liberia and Guinea. But President Biden has sworn to his man, Tete Water, that he will not do nothing to Francis Yumane because Francis Yumane is his nephew. And Francis Yumane have threatened that anybody who suspend him or dismiss him, he will expose the way United Party used blood to kill human beings and win the election. Francis Yumane have threatened the presidency of this country. Francis Yumane, he did that. Yeah, it's it. The government said it. Since the government said they're investigating Francis Yumane, BK company, where is the investigation? President Biden will never ever. President Biden continue to protect Francis Yumane and his act of nepotism above the Liberian people. Why will you say Yeke committed treason when the root cause of the Guinea border issue is Francis Yumane? The government says so. This is fact. You know, for us, that is why they hate us. When we talk, it can be looking at our soul in them. They hate us. They prefer our death because you know what? We come to the politics with unarguable evidence and fact. Nobody can argue that. Nobody in the country can argue that. We are challenging the office of the president. Where is the so-called investigation? There's a release from the Ministry of Information saying to the Liberian people that Francis Yumane and the BK mining company unlawfully mine in the Guinea water, and the Guineans got angry and wanted to bring war in this country. Up to now, the Guineans are still on our land, but Francis Yumane have been confirmed by that useless legislature, the most useless legislature ever in the country. You know, these men, some of us felt they were serious. You have former senators and there, you have former speakers, but they have turned out to be the most useless. They are a disgrace to the first branch of government. So you see here, President Bouake and Francis Yumane and the BK mining company. Well, Francis Yumane is the shareholder. President Bouake benefit also from that gold and diamond mine. That is why President Bouake will never ever take action against Francis Yumane. So the president who wanted to bring war in the country between Guinea and Liberia is Francis Yumane. Yeke Koluba is a victim. Is victim of free speech. Yeke Koluba said the city in Akula Fofana said the land does not belong to Liberia, the land belongs to Guinea. What is reasonable in that? What is it? So we want the world to know Francis Yumane and President Bouake are the one who initiated war between Guinea and Liberia, and President Bouake is aware about that. Fellow Liberians, we also want to say this. to the Liberian people. The citizens COP rejects the printing of additional 79 billion Liberian dollars, which we view in our mind is a political motivated process that lacks single evidence and an evidence of the failed economic strategy of the Augustine Gaffon. Mind you, this government is not printing any new money. They want to print additional money. Here in Samoa, the central bank government, said, and I quote, there are around 49 million that were printed by CDC. The government have only infused 20 billion of that money into the economy. So meaning we still have over 28 or 29 million plus of that other money. Why should we be printing additional money? There's no evidence for it. 1 minute you say you want to be buying gold. Gold cannot be sold in Liberian dollar. When you buy gold in the bridge, you still sell gold in USD. So that is not a justification of printing new money. You know why? It is a way to say that Augustine Gaffon, the private economists, have failed. The chronic criminal in court suit, Augustine Gaffon, who has no solution to the economic inequality and backwardness of the country, they have failed. So they want to print the so-called 79 billion as a campaign money. Like campaign money they want to do. Like campaign money. The government cannot justify any reason. You listen to the senators, no justification. The president called them back during 10 days, gave them more than 3.4 million. No justification. The government cannot provide no justification of why they should print additional 79 billion. Not new money, but they want to bring more money to the economy to make it appear like money, no money in the country. That is an attack on our economy. It will bring more inflation. It will be a way for people to suffer more. It will be a way for people to steal. It will be a way for people to suffer. You see, here's the bad thing about that money. Absolutely no single lawmaker will reject the print of that money when they come back. You know why? Because every lawmaker wants to get re-election. Imagine the government say, we'll give you 10 million. Give 10 million like who the lawmaker will not send? Those buggers? Those legislative gangsters that can be standing for 2,500? And we saw them. And when they are sharing money in Kaya, somebody getting 10 million like all the lawmakers will send. That is how dangerous the Unity Party is. It has absolutely no economic solution to the suffering and the pain and the backward of this country. No solution. So we reject that in the stronger tone. We further condemn the 55th legislature attempt to increase the electoral district in this country from 73 to 89. That action, the third press of it, get it plain. It is a violation of Article 80D of the Constitution. That's what the Constitution says. It said that each constituency shall be proportionally equal a certain number, and that number shall be decided by the legislature, prescribed in keeping with the population growth and movement revealed by national census. The census only call for additional 13 seats. It's finished. The role of the lawmaker is to formulate a threshold, the amount of people that can make district finish. Article 80E of the Constitution, it says that immediately after the national census and therefore the next election, the election commission shall reapportion districts or constituency. How will lawmaker then be apportioning districts when that is the work of the national election? You see how the people who should be protecting the law are reckless violators of the Constitution? The very Constitution? What kind of country is this? Lawmakers are constitutionally buffoons. They understand absolutely nothing about the law. So there's a thought process. Liberians, I agree that the legislature is the most useless horse in this country. You want to add a uselessness horse? And by increasing more horse? Or more seats? More seats? Currently, the legislature enjoys and spends more than 50 million of the Liberian people taxpayer money. When you add another 16 seats, you know what happens? So the whole process is unconstitutional. The legislature, again, does not have the power to determine district. Their role is only to set threshold. It's the election commission that can determine how many people can now go to district. That's what the law says. So the CDC-COP reject that process. Get the thoughtfulness of that. is a wicked United Party plan, and we reject it. Fellow Liberians, the CDC-COP described the 55th legislature as a susu club of corruption, where when President Biden saying 45 million in supplementary budget, they increase it to 53 million. Or the president of the country, who got the highest intelligence in the country, say he wants a supplementary budget of 45 million. At the end of the day, the legislature increased it and passed a budget of 53 million. Imagine the so-called supplementary budget is still a secret. The senators were angry and they were demanding, where is the budget? How will we concord the Sony that we don't see? What kind of country is this? People can sign onto Sony. So in our house, the day somebody even sign a death warrant of all the Liberian people and they go to the senator, all I need was sign that all I need to die. They can sign even a death warrant without seeing it. Want to get it at 5,000 or 10,000. What kind of country is this? What kind of people who can sign things and they can't know? What kind of country is this, fellow Liberians? That horse is a susu club of corruption. Where when President Biden said he wants 5 million, and the minister will add our own 2 million, we get 7 million. So him Biden is still 5, we take our own 2. So you see, it is a susu club of corruption where the Liberian people taxpayer money have been slaughtered and have been distributed at the detriment of the ordinary Liberian people. That is a sort high level of magnified madness, and we reject it. It is a shame. Additionally, the CDC-COP raised serious concern about President Buhari's recent trip to the United States. Let us say this to you. That trip was never a state visit. President Buhari has never met a single federal government official. So you see, President Buhari actually went on a war safari. That was an attempt to purchase international recognition while the Liberian people suffer at home. We have gathered incredible intelligence suggesting that $1 million USD of taxpayer money was paid by President Biden and the Unity Party just to get that so-called a war in California, Sacramento. I want to say this to you, fellow Liberian. That award claims to honor individuals who have demonstrated peace building, integrity, and service across Africa at a diaspora. CDC-COP challenges the organizers to identify a single genuine peace building and democratic leadership demonstrated by President Buhari since assuming office in 2024. One, is this the same Buhari that has failed to take his cell phone to call former President Weah to the national table as brother to work together in the interest of Liberia? Is this the same Buhari? On a the peaceful Liberia? On a the peaceful Buhari here? Is this the same President Buhari who is executive sponsor the unlawful removal of then Speaker Kofa and the bringing down of the Capitol building? And the peaceful Buhari here? Is this the same Buhari who unconstitutionally removed all the tenure positions in the country? And the Supreme Court, and the bigger court in the country said he was wrong for doing that? Is this the same President Buhari who ordered the killing of people in the Kinjal massacre? Is this the same President Buhari? Is this the President Buhari who have arrested almost all the opposition political figures in the country? And the peaceful Buhari? The peaceful Buhari? Is this the President Buhari who ordered the police to shoot live bullets and tear gas and brutalize peaceful Liberians who are marching the street? What form of hypocrisy is that? And the people not get seen, the people to go on plane. As a matter of fact, United Party has spent over 17 million. That is approximately 4 billion Liberian on useless foreign travel and private jet in the last 3 years. Nobody can argue that. When President Buhari became peaceful, man, there's a man who, when the biggest demolition, when they were doing land grab in the country, he told the president coming as a final figure to make peace. The president said, "Go now making new land, get cheap." That is a way for all the Congo people in the elite. They start to just grab land all over. Now one man said he didn't want to get a hold of Central Mororo. Another man said he didn't want to get a hold of Cinco. And the peaceful Buhari, And the same peaceful Bwake who say he can work with peace, he work with chaos in Korea. When Bwake became peaceful man? When? Well, so la people don't know who Bwake is. Like somebody else tell who Bwake is. And Bwake not get no shame. He carry himself to go hold a war in America. Use our taxpayer money. I want to ask you, fellow Labyrinth, what is the single economical benefit towards the Labyrinth people for that trip? Who can tell me? We're challenging the executive matter. One benefit, one. Worst of all, President Bwake was brave to carry a reckless murderer like Gogwe Komo. The same Gogwe who just put on last people who have killed more innocent Labyrinth than malaria. President Bwake told Gogwe we're in America. Well, you think that one will have the realities on the ground? It will never have the realities on the ground. It will never have the reality on the ground. How can a president who just recently called citizens doors? There's a president who called created door. Keke door, Ichereje door, a stupid door, and the president of the country referring to creating has doors that the man say him peaceful man. A president who said that he cannot listen to radio, he cannot listen to television, he cannot go on Facebook. His officials are not real, they will not tell you the truth. So how the president Bwake know his critics can be complete in the country? Instead of you being part of the nation, he say his critics are doors. And the Bwake you give peace and what though? What kind of magnitude and magnified madness is that? But you know what? We realize that a particular institution that gave President Bwake the award, it is a charity organization. So, even my very good friend and brother, Lasana, can find $1 million and give to the minute will get an award. So I award, that NGO award. Now America gave Bwake award. The first thing, America never ever invited Bwake. It was never a state visit. It was a connoisseur NGO thing. For example, Lisu, Ogona, and so on a Kwasa thing, and say President Bwake is the smartest and most educated Labyrinth in the country. It makes sense. It makes sense in Labyrinth. It doesn't make sense. And so that award is a touch, a serious children play. You know when the children play in the cup and they taking the baboon and the tomato cup and they say they're cooking. You know that buyer food? That award is a buyer award that has no bearing, absolutely no impact. It contributes absolutely nothing towards the Labyrinth people. And it is a shame that the same President Bwake who said the people in the diaspora are stupid people. Oh yeah, President Bwake said that. The last time he threatened, he said, Donald Trump coming for you. He said, open your mouth, and when you eat him burger, then you talk to my government. Hello, Donald Trump coming for you. You threaten? How dare President Bwake to threaten the people in the diaspora? In 2023 alone, over 70 million USD came in this country through remittance. Bulk of those money went to United Party campaign. As a matter of fact, isn't this the same President Bwake who used to sit down for Henry Costa to collect susu from all around in America before the Eagle landed? When I see Bwake to be celebrating, the Eagle has landed. So the people in the diaspora are only good to support United Party. President Bwake said they are useless. He will not listen to them because they're not in the country, but they are the ones who supported your campaign. That is why President Bwake is the most ungrateful human being that God ever created. President Bwake is the most hypocritical and ungrateful human being God ever created in the whole world, in the whole wide world. Because this man, he insulted people who feared him yesterday. This man was waiting for water spoon in Henry Costa to collect money before the ego landed. But there's a man who see the people in the diaspora and political new entities. He cannot listen to them. But the same Bwake go on plane and go in the diaspora for a war. What can I say to the man? Huh? You see the people in the diaspora doesn't have voice in the country. You will not listen to them because they're in the diaspora. They're not serious people. But you go on plane, spend more than 250,000 on that one trip. Carry a huge delegation. You carry murderers. How dare you carry Gogwe Komo for a peace award? Or when I agree with President Bwake, I want to buy a award. The tomato call award. Because he risking for a award. And Joe Bwake, nobody in the country, nobody in the world knows Joe Bwake to be a peaceful man. Nobody. The paragon of peace and stability in this country that the entire world marvels at his glorious presence is George Weah. That George we are supposed to be a magnanimous symbol of peace. That is George we are. You like it, you can even buy any award. You will never be a peaceful George we are. That is a fact. You will never be a George we are. You will never ever be a George we are. You will never ever be a George we are. You see the people in the diaspora are not important, but the same people now, you left when you go in the diaspora for a war. It tells you that the Pape suffers from chronic dementia. His old brain is not working. That is why he's in the presidential cage, where a few group of wicked and desperate political desperados tells him what to do, when to do it, how to do it. This is a national shame and utter disgrace to our country. And what is more scary is you have a man who should be commander-in-chief of the country. The man is basically chasing a war and protecting the territorial expansion of this country. How can President Biden be busy about a war now? Now, at about this time, when Liberians have more refugees than water, look at the senseless and useless demolitions that across the countries, in sinkholes, in Satan. We have more refugees now, more than ever before. You know why? Because at the end of the day, these people sit there, they control the president. The president, he has absolutely no clue about what happened. They just dress the man and tell the man to go for the program and go for the other program. How can President Biden be receiving a award at about this time when there's Benjamin, when the rule a death of a 17-year-old boy, Koliko Akwe, who was killed in Benjamin? How? How can they stand? Up to now, the police have to find the killer. How can President Biden be so busy about a war when a very beautiful young girl, patient Gamin Moluba, was discovered there on the morning of Tuesday at the 72nd Boulevard? Police are still investigating in a year to find a single person. This girl died mysteriously. We have had the highest mysterious death since Labrador was founded. 686 mysterious deaths in less than 3 years under the bracket for administration. 663 mysterious deaths. This girl, very young girl, the girl died in the country for Bali Lena. No police yet to know who found. They by the mysterious death. They Bali are more frequent than breakfast in Labrador. Starting there in evening, our men again start there. We can start there in the country. We are very hungry. We're working hungry. The majority of Labrador people are angry. Hungry men and angry men. We have had more than 600 mysterious deaths and ritualistic killing in the country. But President Biden is busy about a wars. The police report of 2026, in 3 months, there have been approximately 500 accidents in 3 months. January, February, March, just 3 months, resulting to 71 deaths. 71 human beings have died from accidents in the country. For God, come on, say when you move motorcycle from on the road, no more accidents. In 3 months' time, we have had 500 plus mysterious deaths and accidents in the country. But President Biden is not battle, but the president is battle about a war. A war. We live in a country today. Wherein we had the Constitution have been violated 192 times. Labrador is a country with law. Labrador is gradually wallowing and swimming into the course pool of anarchy. This country might be plunged into war anytime, in a moment. Any country that people who benefits from the Constitution, any country that people who ride luxurious leisure. This is the man who are living on loan. President Biden was living on handout. He could wait for Henry Costa before he eat. And they may have one share and one shoe and you'll wear more than 15 times to all the people in the country. But now President Biden wears a shirt that can be branded JB on it. This man benefit from the Constitution. We don't have to go and find, not far more than me. The man has spent 17 million, almost 400 billion in less than 3 years on private jet because of the Constitution. But the president has swear to a man, take water, and he will never respect the Constitution. And this man is after the tomato call a war. What manner and form of magnified madness is that? There's the president. When mysterious death in the country is more frequent more than breakfast. The president not get time about it. Over 4,500 women and girls have been raped and molested young boys have been sodomized. There is an intergovernmental raping and sodomizing competition about United Party officials in the country. 3 growing up men raped a 15-year-old little Hassan. Only one human being will not see. The banana 2 men that sodomized and the 15-year-old boy, we can't see them. The president is not bothered about it. But the president is busy about going for a war. A war. Like a war that bring people will eat? What kind of country is this? We live in a country where over 90% of the population are jobless. No job in the country. Last night I was looking on the social media on my hospital bed. Somebody shared with me the pictures of people for the vacancy at the airfield. Liberians were sleeping on the street. Hungry men. Who when you see them, even dry tiny make a flock. I can flock some of the men who don't want to be airfield men. You know what? They don't want to be airfield. They want job. They want job. They want something doing. The president only traveling expenses of 17 million. That could create job for over 32,000 Liberians. Empowerment with a budget of 500 each. 32,000 young people. We in a country where United Partisans are crying about abandonment, no job. And they say they abandon the frustrated. Then somebody sit down in the country and you call Liberian citizens doors. A ticket door, repeat door, all kind of door, sorrowful door. The president of the country. It tells you how arrogant the man is. Fellow Liberians, this country is going down the drain. And that is why we like to call on President Trump. The citizens of you want to call President Trump. President Biden will never take action against Gabriel Como for brutalizing us. We are calling on President Trump to intervene in Liberia. Similar intervention that you made in Venezuela. Democracy is under threat in this country. President Trump, we are calling on you for immediate sanctions on Gabriel Como, on the Bucket family, and all of his relatives, on government officials who thinks in their mind, the president will never act because he believes in his mind that this country belongs to him. And that's why we say to our people, do not give up. Do not lose hope. They can jail us or we rise again. We do not fear death. Death? We are already working death. You took our job from us. You put our Lazarus on camera. You say NSA behind on a daily basis, you are torturing us. What more now? You think that death? We want to say this to the world and Liberian people. Democracy has died in Liberia. It is about time the international partner coming. I'm of the opinion of the view. We do not just wait for elections to provide corrections to constitutional violations. During election time, the international partner can be very active and effective in our country body politics. Why international partner not active now? Because you know what? The Liberian people are yet to stand up, and the international partner want to see the Liberian people better. The people, the world want to see the Liberian people agony. You, the young people, you may rise up. The motorcyclists, you must get aggravated by your pains and agony. The Shushan boys, the jobless students, the market women whose tables have been broken down by President Bwake. Yet though you gave the men job, but he took away job from you, you must get angry. You must get bitter. President Bwake fears you because you know what? He survived on your vote, on your country. Let us say thank you very much. We are very optimistic that together we will redeem this country from the wicked Unity Party administration. Thank you very much.
Amanda, wait. Amanda, wait. That was the year of the CCSUP. One of the plaintiffs.
Yeah, so is it clear? If we have questions,